everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be discussing a book that I have recently completely fallen in love with. It's become one of my favorite books I've read this year, and the sequel comes out in November and I'm absolutely dying for it. And that book is Immortal Dark by Tigist Girma. So if you don't know, this is a young adult vampire dark academia story where we're following a character named Donna, whose little sister goes missing. In order to find more information about the disappearance of her sister, she's invited to this academy where she has to infiltrate the vampire system to find and to confront the person that she believes kidnapped her sister. And through all those actions, there's a lot of crazy turns, a lot of crazy twists, secrets are unearthed, and there might be a little enemies to lovers action going on. There may or may not be. And I'm completely am obsessed with it. So let's just get straight into my thoughts on this book. So I guess first and foremost, I should say that check the trigger warnings for this book. It is young adult, but I do genuinely believe that this should have been marketed as an adult romance or a fantasy romance, or not even fantasy romance, an adult fantasy. There's some very dark topics that are discussed in this book. So before you get any further in this video, I just need you to know to check the trigger warnings, because there are some very dark topics that are discussed and are shown. So there's your warning for that. And I think that's the thing that I really appreciate about this book, was that Tigist was not afraid to go to these very dark places. And she did it in a very unique way where it wasn't like your typical dark romance, but there are definitely dark romance vibes going on in here. If I had to mash different books together to create this masterpiece, I definitely think there are elements of Zodiac Academy, Vampire Academy, if you read that back in the day, and also the Vampire Diaries. So I did watch a interview with Tigist where she was talking about her influences, and she was a vampire girly. If she's around my age, from what I could tell, and she grew up, in the Twilight era, the Vampire Diaries era, and Vampire Academy era, and all those paranormal teen stories that were written and released back in the day. She was part of that crowd. And that's something I really appreciated, because you could definitely see those influences in this book. And they're just uniquely done, because she takes Ethiopian mythology and embeds it into this world. So it makes it completely fresh, makes it completely her own, and it was fascinating to learn about. And there's actually, I would even put an element of A Court of Silver Flames in this as well. There is a sentient house, even though the relationship between Kidon and the house is very different than the relationship that's portrayed in A Court of Silver Flames. But I really do love those elements. So it was like a complete amalgamation of a bunch of different things that I love. So I think this is why it really worked for me. Another thing I really enjoyed was that this was a completely black cast, which is very unique and very much needed in this space. And so it was very refreshing to learn about a different culture and experience this community of vampires that are completely, non-white. I just thought that was a very fascinating angle to this story, and it just made it very different. And so that just makes it even more fun to read, in my opinion. So I really loved the elements in this book. I thought they all worked beautifully. But I also want to talk about the characters. I want to talk about Kidon especially, because she is our main character. And it's been a while since I read a main character who is completely morally gray. And I do genuinely mean morally gray. She has very dark thoughts and is not afraid to not only voice them, but also put action to them as well. And you will see that in the book as well. But I think what makes her special is that even though she does these very, very horrible things, she does have a conscience, she does have a heart, and she does dwell on these decisions, and she dwells on her past actions. And I think the mental health rep in this is actually very well done. She does have all these dark thoughts, and she has to go through this whole journey of finding self love. And she's definitely not 100% there by the end of the book, but she does go on a journey. And I do think that by the end of the series, I think she's going to come full circle, and which will be very nice to see because she does go through a lot in this book. And I just really appreciated her character. And I loved how she interacted with Susenyos. So let's talk about Susenyos. So he is the vampire that Kadan believes kidnapped or had something to do with the kidnapping of her sister. And there's a lot of push and pull with them, especially because there is a power dynamic going on here because with the sentient house, the houses are a source of power with this with the politics of the vampire world. And so the house is left to Susenyos for whatever reason. No one really knows why. So Kadan, when she gets there, is having to challenge Susenyos for this house. So you have that element, but with also the hatred with her believing that he took her sister. And so he also has a very complicated story. I'm excited for you guys to learn more about him in the book. And like Kadan, he also is very morally gray. And I can't go into specifics because of spoilers, but you'll definitely see how unhinged he can be, but also how lovely he can be. He does become somewhat of like a mentor to Kadan in a way. Again, I don't want to go into spoilers, but their interactions were very well done, and their slow burn is so good. I think Tigges is knowing that when you read this book, you just want the slow burn to quicken its pace by the time you get to the end of the book. And I really loved their dynamics and how they played against each other. There's a lot of push and pull, like I was saying earlier, and they're just a lot of fun to read about together. But his backstory, Susenyos' backstory, is very interesting and was very fascinating, and I just absolutely loved it. So yeah, I just love these characters a lot. And there are a lot of side characters that are introduced. I'm not going to go through them all because, again, spoilers. But I think out of all of them, my favorite was Taj, who is one of Susenyos' friends. He very much felt like a Cassian type of character. And if you know, Chorus Over Flames is my favorite book of all time, or one of my favorite books of all time. And I absolutely love Cassian. And I love any character that resembles him. And Taj is very much like the African American version of Cassian, and I freaking loved it. He also has another friend named Aniko, who we don't know anything about. We didn't interact with her too often. The interactions we did have were not very good for reasons. So I will be interested to see more of them in the next book. Which is called Eternal Ruin, I believe. And then we have Kadan's friends, Yusef, Slyn, and GK. So GK is part of this community that's resembles kind of like monks in a way. They have a very like strict religious upbringing and mindset and moral. And so I thought he was a very interesting balance to these group of characters that are all, as a unit, very morally gray. Again, there's a lot of morally gray characters in this book. Slyn is also one of these characters. Again, I can't get into spoilers, but things get crazy with her, and things also get crazy with her other friend Yusef, who's an artist. And he was very much like the goofball of the group. I enjoyed all of them as a group, I did have issues with them as characters by the time we got to the end of the book. So if you do read this book, I do want to discuss a lot of this stuff with you guys. But again, I really enjoyed them overall, though. Just like things that they did, decisions that were made. Yikes. Like, that's just the word, yikes. So in terms of the plot, like, I really love the plot. It was very, again, very unique to vampires. There's a lot of interesting politics that are discussed and that are shown between the humans and the vampires. It's something I never read about before. But another theme of this story is about humanity and what it means to be human. And I think that's something that is very present in most vampire stories. But I think just the way that it's discussed here, it talks about how, as humans, are we really better than the monsters that we think are evil? And I think that's a very interesting conundrum, especially in this world of vampires. And I think Tigas really talked about that beautifully, and that's really shown the plot between the decisions our characters make, and other plot lines that are introduced in the story and are really going to explode in book 2. I feel like I just thought the plot was very well done, and I'm very excited to see where all these lines go. So I know this was very quick. My voice is going out, but I wanted to go ahead and get this video out there because I absolutely love this book so much, and no one's talking about it, and I think it's insane. I need more people to read this, and I need more people to hype up this story because I think it's so beautifully done and is one of the best vampire books I've read in a very long time. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope some of this stuff made sense. I'm never really good at articulating my thoughts very well. I've never been great at that. But hopefully you guys got the gist of the book. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I loved it so much, and I hope you guys love it too when you read it. So let me know down below if you've read this book and what you thought about it, and also let me know if you do plan on reading it. Did I convince you? I would love to know. You can also follow me on my Instagram at Fanboy Reads. I forgot my handle for a second, my God. And yeah, I hope to talk to you guys very soon. I am working on a vlog right now, so you will see me again fairly soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!